The Torah at the end of Parshas Acharei tells us about a very, very unfortunate, terrible type of avodah zarah. The Torah tells us, "Umizaracha, from your children, lo sitein lamolech, havir lamolech." Don't give them over to pass before Molech. What is Molech? Rashi explains, "Avodas elilim hi sheshma Molech." This was a type of pagan idol worship called Molech. V'zui avodasam. This was how it was worshipped. Shemoser ben olakom. A person would take his child, take his son, and give it over to the priests of Molech. Those in Shtei Meduras Gedolos, they make two giant bonfires. Uma'avirnas ben v'rago, had the child walk between Bein Shtei Meduras Eish, between the two bonfires. And it's clear from other contexts that there were times that the child was actually killed. You gave over your own child to the avodah zarah. Now, why somebody would want to do this is beyond our comprehension, but somehow the allure of the avodah zarah was so strong. But what's interesting is the end of that pasuk. Again, the pasuk begins with Mizaracha lo sitein lahavir lamolech. Don't give over your child to Molech. V'lo sechalel es shem Elokecha ani Hashem. And do not profane the name of Hashem. Why is that necessary to conclude the pasuk? Every form of avodah zarah, if we choose to worship avodah zarah, is a profaning of the name of God. We have chosen avodah zarah over the worship of the true God. So why is the Torah stressing specifically when it comes to the avodah of Molech, of giving over your child to this God, a lowercase g, that this is considered to be a chilul Hashem? The Ramban comments that there is a unique element to the chilul Hashem here. What is the unique element of the chilul Hashem? The Ramban explains that there will be a chilul Hashem when the nations will hear that the Jews honor their own God, the real God, Hashem, by offering what? Animal sacrifices. But they have such mesiras nefesh for avodah zarah that they're willing to give their own child, and that is a chilul Hashem. It's a very interesting perspective the Ramban has. Rav David Kfir in his Sefer Sukkos David explains that what you see from this is that sometimes a chilul Hashem can be when we show wrong priorities in life. When we have something which should be so important, and yet we can push it aside and prioritize something else, that can be a chilul Hashem. You see, that which we decide to do first, that which we prioritize, shows its chashivas, shows how important, how significant it is in our lives. And when we can somehow squash it and put it aside and not be concerned, that shows that it just doesn't bother us so much. And that, when it comes to that which is holy, when it comes to that which is spiritual, is a chilul Hashem. He brings for an example the story in Shmuel when the Aron Habris, where the Aron was captured by the Plishtim, and it was taken by the Plishtim and was being held there for a while. And initially, when it came back, there was a plague that occurred, destroying the residents of Beit Shemesh. And the Medrash asks, why were they punished? And the Medrash says that they were more concerned about their personal possessions than the capturing of the Aron. What's the problem? The problem is their things are valuable also, but it's about priorities. It's about priorities. And that's the problem with Molech. That's the unique chilul Hashem. You're willing to give over, or at least the perception that you're willing to give over your child to avodah zarah, but you wouldn't give that to Hashem. That is a unique form of chilul Hashem. Now, obviously, in that case, the ideal is not to give it over at all. The Torah says it's forbidden to give it over. But it's a reminder to us to prioritize in our lives. And that when we're doing things that are insignificant or less significant, takes priority over that which should be most fundamental in our lives. When we prioritize, again, whatever it may be, but things that we want to do, as opposed to the things that we have to do for Hashem, whether it be Limanat Torah, whether it be the significance of what's going on in Eretz Yisrael, whether it be Tefillah, whatever it is, and things that are less important become the priority, that is an element of chilul Hashem. It's a reminder to sometimes sit down and make sure that our priorities are straight. Sit down and think of all the things that we need to be doing. How do we do them? How do we make sure? How do we ensure that everything that we do is a kiddush shem shemayim, by that which is on top of our list as most important is prioritized, that which is lower, and that we don't mix it up and cause this unique form of chilul Hashem.